Hi everyone, it's Jess and I am finally back with some new videos for you all. I ran into some major computer issues which required me to get a new computer. So here I am with a brand new iMac Pro computer, and I am here going to be sharing with you all how I made this really sweet mini album, and I do actually have the mini album right beside me so I can reference it in the video. So here I'm just showing this close to my heart stamp that I bought that they have made special for the virus, and I'm planning on using this mini album that I made to document various things that are going on right now in the world, and to do that I'm going to be using this stamp set when I eventually do anything with this mini album, which I will admit I have done absolutely nothing with yet other than finish putting it together, which took a really long time and a lot of adhesive. I'm also going to be pulling in a lot of my Ali Edwards stamp sets, mainly because I haven't used them. So to assemble this album, I have made pre-made some mixed media sheets on Vicki Boutin's foundation cardstock. For this page I used distress ink, and I just used a sponge applicator to dip it in the ink and then squish it in a circular formation on the page, and then I decorated with black ink. This one I used a stencil and art crayons, stencil stamping with art crayons, and then I stenciled some dry art crayon on the top of it to get this part at the side. So I probably won't tell you what I did for every single sheet. I'll just tell you the ones that are different. For this one I used art crayon, and I scribbled it onto a stamp and then wet it and stamped on the background. That's just art crayon and some stenciling with some glaze over the top. I used the Vicki Boutin stencil brush for that. This is made using Lindy Stamp Gang Magicals. They're super vibrant and super shiny. This is also Lindy Stamp Gang stencils, or Magicals, not stencils. Magicals. This is a bubble technique from Vicki Boutin, which she made on on the Scrapbook and Cards Today Facebook page. This was made using Distress Oxide inks. I blended inks into the background together, and then I removed it with a baby wipe. This is acrylic ink, and I used various sized bottles to make rings. I just dipped them in the ink. This is the bubble technique that I was mentioning. Oh, it shows up really well in the video. I wasn't sure if it would because it didn't look like it's showing up for me. So this is just more of the same thing that I've already talked about. This one has some texture paste on it. I did use the Vicki Boutin texture paste, and I tinted it with some pigment, Vicki Boutin pigment powders, watercolor pigments. I'm not sure what they're called. So, I'm just showing you here that that's the like reverse of that star stencil. It's the same thing, just I used the leftover paint to stamp instead. So a lot of these are the same techniques. I just use them over and over again with different colors to make different pages for my album. And then when I was finished, I did go over all of them with matte acrylic gel medium, which is a Vicki Boutin product, but I'm not sure if it's still available. I think it's been discontinued. I did that for all of them except for the one that you saw at the very beginning with the circles. That is actually take number 2 of that particular paper, because the first time I did go over it with the matte acrylic gel and it just smeared all the way down the page and it looked terrible. So I remade it and didn't put any gel on it. So that's my advice. The Distress Oxide inks do activate with the gel medium, so don't do that. So here, in a minute, I'm going to show you how I made a special page in the album right here. And this is how, this idea I got from Vicki Boutin as well. I did not come up with this myself, and to be honest, hers turned out way a lot better than mine did. But that's besides the fact. There's absolutely nothing wrong with how I made mine. So I'm using a floral stamp here and some VersaFine ink. I think it's VersaFine in black onyx. I think that's right. I don't have the ink beside me. It's over on my desk, and my headphone cords just won't reach that far. So I can't tell you 100%. I'm pretty sure it's VersaFine in onyx black. So I'm just using some different floral stamps. This one's from a Close to My Heart stamp set, I believe, and then I will also use one from a Jen Scow stamp set. Originally, I wasn't planning on doing a voiceover for this video. However, my dogs are here. My dogs like to bark at everything. So there was a lot of starting and stopping in this video. A lot. So I just decided to do a voiceover because the video ended up being 40 minutes long without speeding it up, and I didn't think anybody wanted to watch that. So I sped it up. This little floral stamp is from a Jen Scow stamp set, and I'm really sorry, I don't know the name of it. I don't have it beside me. One thing I will say about that VersaFine ink is, I'm showing you there, it went really fast, but I am showing you there, is that it gets stuck in between the ridges on your acrylic stamps, and it's really hard to clean out. So I would recommend not doing what I'm doing there. I would recommend having like a stamp chamois. Lawn Fawn makes one, and Close to My Heart makes one now, but I haven't used it. I do have the Lawn Fawn one. I used it, well, I have it, but I haven't been using it lately. They're really, really simple to use. You just wet them and wring them out, and they're kind of like this weird like feeling, but and then you just wipe them off. They're like a microfibery type cloth, but it feels funny. So I am going to color in the flowers using some, oh goodness, I don't know what these are called. I think they're Pro Marker Tri-Blend. I'll just grab one. Those I can reach. They're beside me. Oh, sorry, I just hit the microphone. They are Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers. And what they are is they have 3 saturations of the same color in one marker. So the one I have in front of me is called Blue Turquoise Blend, and it has BT3, BT4, and BT5 in it. Essentially, there's a light, medium, or a light, mid, and dark. I don't know why it's called mid and not medium, but anyways. So you'll see me coloring in the flowers. I don't do any fancy blending. One, because I'm not very good at coloring. Not like blending and shading and such. But the main reason is because the VersaFine ink that I used doesn't react well with alcohol inks. I did test this on part that I cut off the edge there before I did this, and I found out that if I just went over it once very lightly, it didn't bleed that much. So you can see that I'm trying not to get up close to the edges, and then I realized that if I just scribbled over it really, really quickly, it didn't smear anyways. So my coloring is not great on these flowers, but honestly, when I look at it, like I have it beside me here, it's fine. Like, it looks fine. They just look like colored in roses or peonies or whatever they are. So I did leave in the coloring of like a couple flowers and a couple leaves, and then I think I come back and I show you it all finished. So this is the only page that I'm going to show you how I made. I'm talking here about how I'm going to back this. As it turns out, this was not, well, I guess it was kind of necessary. The markers did bleed through the edge, so you would see it on the back. I just backed it with another piece of white cardstock, but then you'll see when I make my final album that it's like that. So this is my final album. I will link to the video where Vicki Boutin makes this album, and she goes through all of the dimensions and everything to show you. Mine didn't turn out perfect. My spine is not the way that it's supposed to look. This isn't my favorite way to make a mini album out of chipboard. It's not my favorite way of like joining the pages into the spine. It works. My album is in one piece. I will say that if you are going to do this project, that you are going to need a lot of double-sided tape. So for this project, you can leave pockets. You can add in extra pieces of paper. So I added in pattern paper from Paige Evans for Pink Paisley Bloom Street. Let's see what other pattern paper I used in. Vicki Boutin Color Kaleidoscope. I did put a vellum acetate, or not vellum, just an acetate piece from the Paige Evans collection. It didn't work as well as I'd hoped it would. And the last collection I used was Never Grow Up by Schmall. So this is my little mini album, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry the video went super fast. I will link down below to the video where Vicki Boutin gives you all the dimensions and everything and teaches you how to attach this all into an album. Thanks for watching, and I will have more videos soon. Bye bye!